Shield Stenogen engaged.
Zero 8. Address is 8050 Marseille. That's 8050 Marseille. That's signal one outside.
For anyone who thinks that they might have information relevant to the investigation to call the police, the Providence Police non-emergency line, which is 401-272-3121, 401-272-3121. Of course, you can also call 911, but if you have information that you think might be able to assist in our investigation, please give us a call. At this time, I'd like to turn the mic over to our Governor, Dan McKee, who's been in touch with federal, state partners.
That one going. I had an entry box.
System initialized.
263792. 43263792. Williams.
A recent kernel, recent drivers, so you should be able to run that on any computer without any problem. So do not load on Cosmic and you should be able to run that on any computer. It is a fantastic first draft of on Cosmic. It is still a first draft. I know what they are. It is a fantastic first draft of the desktop. And you can clearly see that some stuff, the applications animated as it should be, some stuff is as smooth as it should be. Clearly see there are some performance problems animated as it should be. Some stuff isn't as smooth as it should be. There are some performance problems when opening and closing apps.
And your original target, but also undocumented ICE says.
The worst one to do is protect the country by removing illegal aliens.
The Department of Homeland Security says they've arrested undocumented immigrants with convictions including criminal sexual conduct with a minor, aggravated assault, and domestic violence. The operation comes after federal prosecutors earlier this year charged dozens of people in Minnesota, Somalia.
Location was 10-20.
Open calculator. I'll be able to sleep and see inside on traffic stop.
Open calculator. Starting JSON security scan. Alert. Alert. Malformed file moved to quarantine.
All new form factors like Xreal's Project Aura will expand the Android XR
Alert.
ecosystem,
Malformed
letting
file
you
moved to
experience
quarantine.
immersive headset experiences with you on the go, like at a coffee shop.
Fitting all these devices, Gemini is the glue, giving you a simple, conversational interface to do so much. It makes XR devices go from computing to feeling like you have a superpowers. Today, we'll see exciting updates of Christi.
Warning. Large file detected. Scanner gen offline. Shield suspended. Scanner gen shield suspended.
A recent kernel, recent drivers.
Scan
You should be
complete.
able to run that on any
System
computer
is
without
secure.
any problem. So to conclude on Cosmic and Pop OS, I love what they've done. It is a fantastic first draft of a desktop. It is still a first draft. The applications are bare bones, the settings are very bare bones, and you can clearly see that some stuff is not animated as it should be, some stuff isn't as smooth as it should be. There are some performance problems when opening and closing apps.
I want to
Not sure if it's
Windows 11 Pro, and I also want to make sure we're offline. 2801, step 44.
60 days on that radio for the first time here at Winter. I've already picked her up and also dropped her off. They're going to be changing everything once I got the
requirements for Windows 11. But we can fix this by going backwards. And
10-4.
1 Cambridge Drive.
Arnold. 905, transit radio check. Radio check.
I was gonna go and see if I could get the bigger ones first and then come back to those.
44 Temple.
Find those two first.
Don't. All right. Perfect example is HughesNet, Viasat, DirecTV, Dish Network. Like I said, they're going out of business, and what happened? They're basically out of business. There's mergers going on. There's this and that, whatever. They're just hanging on by a DirecTV. They're basically network. Like I said, right? They're going out of business. They're basically T-Mobile, Verizon, all the rest of them. They've been doing that for so long. Can you imagine having one bill by a threat? They're basically gone.
And there's various things that can be done here, some of which I'll return to later in the video. But the critical one is that if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, and on this computer there is an NVIDIA graphics card, we need to launch the driver manager to install the right drivers for the NVIDIA graphics card.
13 over 30 25 Apollo.
Scanner gen engaged.
Airport 60, David, answer.
David, answer. You're okay, I just check, wait.
Airport 20, clear door to show, David.
Airport. Clear door showing David.
Shield suspended. Scanner gen offline.
What my photographer Joe Dorsey just saw, we saw a stretcher go down the street, and they wheeled down a student who was bawling, crying. And she was also being protected by, see this officer right here, Joe, can we just show this officer? This is what we're talking about when you walk around Providence right now. You have officers with guns
System
drawn, and there's one of
initialized.
them right there. And he walked alongside the...
Growing up, there's chance to wear as well in neighboring countries where say under or country. What is considered was not after
of surveillance and centralized control by the communist government governing AI. We want American values of free speech and individual liberty and respect for the individual. So this executive order, I believe, is tremendously important. Thank you very much.
Scott,
This is the biggest technological innovation in our country's history. Now, we've seen the railroads, we've seen the utilities, we've seen the build-out.
Air Force 60 data transfer.
GPS 2 responding to GPS 243, GPS 430 where GPS 430 is where
and here we are on the desktop with a welcome wizard, and there's various things that can be done here, some of which I'll return to later in the video, but the critical one is that if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, and obviously the computer is an NVIDIA graphics card, we need to launch the driver manager to install our drivers for the NVIDIA graphics card.
You're likely to the same sentiment here as well. I will say, however, the temperatures were exceptionally low, and I think it's somewhere I am for HCCPD, but with everything is very
One information in the file, you put it there. When you want it back, you get it out again, and you don't have to think about size or number of records or number of fields or anything like that unless it's really germane to your program.
A recent kernel, recent drivers, so you should be able to run that on any computer without any problem. So do include on recent drivers, you should be able to run that what they need. It is a fantastic first. So do include on Cosmic and Play first. I love showing up. It is a fantastic first driver of the desk. You can clearly see that some stuff, the application animated as it should be, some stuff every pair moves as it should be.
Once you wear an iPad or something as it should be, instead of experiment using an iPad or something partially covered with face, and still
Shield
did not
active.
more than fool the Apple ID feature on your phone that allows
System
it to
initialized.
automatically recognize your face through their software. So most of the things that you would use to cover your face, that technology, the modern technology that's out there, is not going to stop it. Modern surveillance tools will actually identify you even easier because of
Ten-4.
Shield suspended.
Dispatch. I think still picking up in the front and out and about.
So, and check that out. As I connected to this computer over SSH, you can see immediately that there's new information written to the log file. Now to make this even more interesting,
you just need GoDaddy Arrow.
and check that out. As I connected to this computer over SSH, you can see immediately that there's new information written to the log file. Now to make this case, I enabled password authentication over SSH, which is something that you probably should never do, but I wanted to show you as an example. After
Get started at GoDaddy.com/arrow. That's GoDaddy.com.
In this case, I enabled password authentication over SSH, which is something that you probably should never do, but I wanted to show you as an example.
After David, answer.
Door will not engage.
Usually 1023 at 1446 Devon Drive.
10-4.
Scanner Gen engaged.
Right. I guess so.
Terminator on.
I'm sorry, can I?
I don't have a product key, so we'll just take that down there.
The Wenger.
I want to install Windows 11 Pro, and I also want to make sure we're offline when we do this, so I can set up a local account. And to do that, I'm going to go down here to VirtualBox, and I'm going to disconnect the network adapter. Now, when we've done that, we'll get to this message because our virtual machine doesn't meet the requirements for Windows 11. But we can fix this by going backwards. And
Scanner Gen offline. Shield active.
Airport 60, David, answer.
David, 1838.
Airport 60, David, answer.
David, 1838.
And it's therefore worth being aware of some shortcuts to actually help us with that issue. The first is the use of the arrow keys, which can cycle between previously entered entries. So if I press the up arrow here, we'll start to see things I've typed in previously. We could go back and forth. And so, for example, I can go back to the root directory.
Location
I just press enter on that. We don't have to type that in. And there we are, back in the root directory. The other thing it's worth being aware of is you can use the tab key to auto-complete what you're typing. So,
60, David, answer.
David, 1838.
Airport 60, David, answer.
Shield suspended.
David, 1838. Sorry. Six. So now I'm at the nursing home. So I'm not sure what the 26 is 01.
I'm a big fan of each of you, but thank you for what you're doing for us. And I can't tell you enough. God bless you. I love you guys, and I just wish the best for Corpus, because again, when Corpus does well,
Which stands for Multimedia Card Block Device, which is then followed by
I didn't see anybody.
drive connected by a PCIe and VME interface are labeled NVMe, followed by a controller number, and then a
and then you go on that little horseshoe turn around, and then stop right there at the sidewalk. It says Physicians Plaza, and it says 2601 Hospital Boulevard. Is it part of the 2606, but it's in the front, not in the back? No, it's not part of the Hector P. Garcia. Go past that.
You should be able to run that.
It looks like there's really nothing. It looks like that abandoned building or something. Past those little fenced-in area, and you'll see a little horseshoe driveway.
Location, what's your 10-20? Bare bones, and you can clearly see that some stuff is not as it should be.
19th Street.
Smooth as it should be. There are some performance problems when opening and closing apps. Not sure if it's...
Go past Miller Street. It'll be on your left-hand side. We're studying medical facility November 66581. Wholesale Frank. Repeat, November 665 Wholesale Frank. And send a via 15-minute ETA. Okay, 417. Who's working on the... Thirty. Can I get an individual, please? Overtake on patrol 224-20 Coleman. The Sorry, I just put the was the stuff also that's the one that that's why I got confused. At 9:15, I got that one going. I had an empty block. That was so good. My call, 1445 Drive. Locus will be 1 Patrol 1 unfounded. Coming out to 932. Number 7-1. Well, we'll wait. I'm the 800 North Virginia. I want to follow up. 10-4. 20 disregard. No,
Starting JSON security scan.
Adam 2, building. 202 South Corpus. .648 tonight. VA 10-4. And that's fine at Imagine.
Yes, we saw it.
Alright, thank you. 10-4.
Scan complete. System is secure.
At the top it says Open with Install Windows Application. And the first time you do this, you'll get a message asking you to install Windows App Support, which for me didn't work. So I actually went back to the software store and did a manual install of Windows App Support. I'm therefore now hoping when I click here, it will install Adobe Audition. Do we want to run setup.exe? Yes, we do. Let's see what happens. Very exciting. Wine has come up, so hopefully all very exciting. Let's take a look at what we have in the menu here. Very exciting. The first thing we notice is this will be pretty familiar that we have used to use menu here. Version Windows. I think the first thing we notice is this will be pretty familiar to people who are used to using. Not only do we have the normal Windows Linux type of settings to configure it, there's lots of very good settings. Bring that up. You'll see not only do we have the normal layout Linux type of settings, but we have the first layout here in this called Windows Like. It's what we've got here. We've also got Windows available list. And the first layout is what they call Windows-like. It's what we've got here. We've also got Windows List. We find a number of packages available, of which we need to install
Fake dispatch radio code bullshit.
The first of these is the number of packages available, of which we need to install.
Fake dispatch radio code bullshit.
The first of these is the base package. So let's just install this. This gives us the basis of it. There we are. That's enter. We go back. We next going to install VirtualBox Guest Edition. ISO installs, which will improve the performance of our next machine. Not VirtualBox by permitting it to run full screen and allowing improve the performance of our virtual machine, not least by permitting it to run full screen and allowing a shared CD and run the 64-bit version of Guest Editions. Like that. Yes, we want to install it. We just run through like a normal Windows install process. CD and run the 64. There we are. It's installed. So we have to reboot. So we'll click on that. Yes, we want to install it. We just run through like a normal Windows install process. Log in. There we go. And there we are. It's installed. Now we get Edition installed. So we'll click on finish. Right click and go to display. And here we are back again. I need to log in. There we go. And nothing looks different, but now we get Editions installed. I can right click and go to display.
It is still a first draft. The applications are bare bones. The settings are very bare bones. And we can clearly see that some stuff is not animated as it should be.
Application, although they do have a circle around it in their default theme. It is still a GNOME app. It is going to follow GNOME's interface conventions, but it works and it is themed. Now, if you do change the theme, it's not going to switch it automatically. You're going to have to close the app and reopen it for that to work, which can be annoying, but who changes their theme all the time? I something that's going to be a big deal. Now, this one is GNOME Calendar from the repo, so it is not a theme package, it is a older version of GNOME Calendar, and as you
go to the terminal, and I'm going to type sudo install mstt core fonts and enter, and it'll ask for my password, which of course I have to.
Maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. Moore was head coach for 2 seasons and led them this year to a 9-3 record, with the team ranked 18th in the country. Biff Poggi will be the interim coach for Michigan's bowl game on December 31st.
Super. Please perform a drop-off for Esperanza Hall.
Forward.
Thank you.
Starting JSON security scan.
C917 in dispatch. Who's on go ahead? May you complete my call 1541 Devon Drive. Result code to be 1 patrol, 1 unfounded, 6 unable to locate.
You got an individual that's requesting that EMS. And 12, you have open mic. You already got 38 heading that way? I'm getting them right now. It's Ulster.
37.
This morning before testing got you out to do over here in Ocean Drive, when y'all went Alameda, that area where y'all working at, everything was picked up and cleaned up.
2449 Barry.
Yeah, we went back and we got our signs and our cones. Okay, so y'all didn't leave no bags out there? Just like I don't want to leave bags out there for over the weekend.
And if you have a preferred app, you can install it through Flathub. You also have a very basic text editor. It doesn't do much. It does have some Git management features if you need that, but I think most people will just use another text editor if they need to edit files in a Git repo. It's a very simple one, but it has the merit of
Scan
existing
complete.
and letting you edit
System is secure.
without having to install something on top. Now you do have the Cosmic App Store, which is again very
requirements for Windows 11. But we can fix this by going backwards and then
David, landside 1838.
Sure, get that sidewalk.
Run at 28 on Henry Charles John 920. Henry Charles John 920.
10-4.
Check his bill validator, please. 932, 10-4. Check his bill validator, please.
And route back to the city.
932, 10-4.
AC9 for dispatch. 9-4, go ahead. AC9 for dispatch. You can show me arrived and patrolling on Indiana. 9-4, go ahead. 21, you arrived and patrolling on Indiana. 21.
Hello.
Yo 1.
You're having that check, please.
Yo 1. Hello.
And it asks me a few more questions. Where am I? I am in the UK, that's fine. London is fine for my time zone.
And I
need to create an account. This is a local account. We're not going online here. This is simply a local account on the computer. So I'll just set this up. The password there is fair. This is only a test system. And note, we do have an option here to log in automatically, but I'm going to leave things to require a password.
So to conclude on Cosmic and Pop OS, I love what they've done. It is a fantastic first draft of a desktop. It is still a first draft. The applications are bare bones, the settings are very bare bones, and you can clearly see that some stuff is not animated as it should be, some stuff isn't as smooth as it should be. There are some performance problems when opening and closing apps. Not sure if it's opening and closing apps, some stuff isn't as smooth as it should be. There are some performance problems when opening and closing apps. Not sure if it's Anyway, that's all for this cool look at Pop OS 24.04 and the first version of Cosmic. It's nice, but if you don't like Wayland and if you need a bunch of options, it's just not quite ready yet unless you want to replace a bunch of the default apps with other things. It is still an impressive first version, and I think it's going to fit the needs of a lot of people. So, thank you all for watching. You know where all the YouTube buttons are, you know why you should click them. You also have plenty of links in the
Here's
description.
an aerial of the big controller. You'll see the font has been substituted because it's not available. And similarly, this is Verdana, and this is a Comic Sans, and these aren't installed by default in Linux. But we can fix that, because if we close this down, I can go to a component. So for now, we'll go to a terminal, and I'm going to type sudo apt install mstt Corpus and enter. And it'll ask for my password, which of course I have.
The critical one is that if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, and on this computer there is an NVIDIA graphics card, you need to launch the driver manager to install the right drivers for the NVIDIA graphics card.
Facing every 085. Sorry.
Recent drivers, so you should be able to run that on any computer without any problem. So to conclude on Cosmic and Pop OS, I love what they've done. It is a fantastic first draft of a desktop. It is still a first draft. The applications are bare bones, the settings are very bare bones, and you can clearly see that some stuff is not animated as it should be, some stuff isn't as smooth as it should be. There are some performance problems when opening and closing apps. Not sure if it's
Airport 60, David, answer.
David, Landside 1838.
It's for a full meter. Over. Here, boy. And then Staple Street, Station 205. Yeah. Oh, the Taylor Frost or they? Airport 63, I'll be off property.
You're on the ferry coming across to the Port A side.
a recent kernel, recent drivers, so you should be able to run that on any computer without any problem. So to conclude on Cosmic and Pop OS, I love what they've done. It is a fantastic first draft. So to conclude on Cosmic, it is still a first draft. I love what they've done. It is a fantastic first draft of a desktop, and you can clearly see that some stuff, the applications animated as it should be, some stuff is very smooth as it should be. There are some stuff
Starting JSON security scan.
Some stuff isn't as smooth as it should be. There are some performance problems when opening and closing apps. Not sure if it's
Scan complete. System is secure. Placement scan complete. Placement scan complete.
Airport 60, David, Lansford.
David, Lansford 1838.
In the American Bank parking lot. Personalized plate, John Tom Henry. It's going to be a blue Jeep Gladiator. Prince with a banner on it as well.
The settings are extremely basic in the town. All the things are built in as well. Right. And which is how Cosmic does they're basically I would like to know correctly, it's fine.
Sister Julia.
It doesn't have to
And
any of those
about 10 months later,
yes, these are the most mentioned today. And so something is shipped with
or certain records or number of fields or anything like that unless it really remains
so, Democrats included
I come into 18 SPD, I'm at 16 feet high.
today, of course,
Hold on. Yes, 5. I just said 3,500. Apparently 2 decoy. Kelly 13230, I don't know if people are arguing everything bad. You cannot put hands on her. I'll be over here.
Under system tools, we might not have expected that, and no difference under utilities. Finally, it is worth noting that all of the extra applications included in Pro can be installed for free in the Core Edition. However, I know that some people do like everything.
You've got an individual that's requesting that.
Log in. And here we are back on my desktop with the Welcome Wizard, and there's various things that can be done here, some of which I'll return to later in the video, but the critical one is that if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, and on this computer there is an NVIDIA graphics card, we need to launch the driver manager to install the right drivers for the NVIDIA graphics card. And just to be clear, if you have Intel or AMD graphics, the best drivers will already be installed. But here for NVIDIA, we'll just...
David, Lansford 1838.
And just to be clear, if you have Intel or AMD graphics, the best drivers will already be installed. I don't have a product here, so NVIDIA will just come there to launch the driver manager, where, as we can see right now, an open source driver is being used rather than do this proprietary NVIDIA driver. So we'll go to the recommended NVIDIA driver, click on that, and click on Apply Changes. And because this is Linux, I have to enter my password on that and get the software installed. Virtual machine doesn't require this for but we can fix this by going backwards
Roger. He's working on the... Okay.
124.
He's
I'm
working
grabbing
on
my
the...
fingerprint kit, I'll go over there and I'll take prints. 230 area.
Oh, 6, go ahead.
Zero 5 landed for land.
High time to have a cup of tea, after which we'll create some virtual machines. High time to have a cup of tea, after which we'll create some virtual machines. High time to have a cup of tea, after which we'll create some virtual we're going to create a virtual machine. Guess what? It's now time to do this within an ISO file format. We're going to create a virtual machine. Guess what? It's now to do this within an ISO file format. We're going to create a virtual machine here in this folder, which I downloaded in an ISO file format. I'll provide lists. I've got several here in this folder, which I downloaded in previous videos. And I'll provide links for download.
A recent kernel, recent drivers, so you should be able to run that on any computer without any problem. So to Corpus, I love what they've done. It is a fantastic first draft of a desktop. It is still a first draft. The applications are bare bones, the settings are very bare bones, and you can clearly see that some stuff is not animated as it should be, some stuff isn't as smooth as it should be. There are some performance problems when opening and closing apps. Not sure it's
Yeah, just stay on the side, walk around to around the water burger just so you can pull off in either direction.
Clear, valid, no insurance information provided due to it being a rental car for your fleet.
Fat. In the area.
Excited about things that I could ask for. Valerie Castro, NBC News.
When we come back, there's good news tonight about the special occasion that lit up hundreds of people.
A recent kernel, recent drivers, so you should be able to run that on any computer without any problem. So
there's good news tonight.
I love what they've done. It is a fantastic first draft
we
of
highlight
a
the many
desktop.
people
It is still a first draft. The applications are bare bones, the settings are very bare bones, and you can clearly see that some stuff is not animated as it should be, some stuff isn't as smooth as it should be. There are some performance problems when opening and closing apps. Not sure if it's
Airport 60, David, Mansart.
David, Lanside 1838. 101 Johnston Drive. Over. The site looks like now, or that she's inside of the residence, and then the broke her phone and he's coming to the truck now.
Location, what's your 10-20?
Open calculator. I'll be at the sleeping seating inside on the traffic stop.
Open calculator.
Real. Repeat advising if there's two subjects still in city. No permit. There's both last seat, Marie. black polo, khaki shorts, airways heavy repeat. 10-4.
Get a picture of this makeshift device. It looks like with a hook at the end to try to open the window.
At the time, I didn't know how much they sucked. I do now.
They suck bigly.
Yeah.
If I can use that word.
At the time, I didn't know how much they sucked. I do now.
They suck bigly.
Yeah.
If I can use that word.
And at the time, I didn't know how much they sucked. I do now.
They suck bigly.
Yeah.
If I can use that word.
At the time, I didn't know how much they sucked. I do now.
They suck bigly.
Yeah.
If I can use that word.
And I said to them.
Glasses, so I love that. Then we try the Shelbys. What do you think? The Shelbys or the...
And I'm...
They both look good on you.
You're a salesman. You're a salesman. And what about saluting our fighter pilots this Christmas? I want to see the gear that the fighter pilots are wearing here. This is what they wear up there.
Yes.
Flying these fighter jets. Not bad. I'll leave the hard work to them, though. We salute their service, our fighter pilots, and we salute the workers behind these glasses.
CID on at the station right now.
There is an audible alarm for the building. No contact.